So the format tonight, we're going to do, like I said, brief presentation, and then we're going to go straight into taking your comments on the record with our court reporter. And we'll see how many, there's a blue cards in the back. Put your name, basically first name, last name on those. Bring those up to the front table here. I'll call your name out, and you can come up and say whatever you want to say on the record. So we'll go into that when we get to that part. So that's basically, like I say, presentation about the permit, and then comments on the record. So I'm going to turn it over to Russ to get us started here.
Good evening. So I'm Russell Flagg. I'm the Assistant Chief over permitting and regional compliance for the state of Ohio. I wanted to do this presentation to basically tell you what the Title V program is and the draft permit that has been written and is in front of you for your comments. So what is a Title V? Well, it's a national program that is set up by the 1990 Clean Air Act. And it's there to streamline the permitting process for facilities that want to emit air pollutants. It provides also a very level playing field for all businesses throughout the entire continental United States. I should say all of the United States. The advantages are that it involves the public at every step of the process once the terms and conditions are ready for issuance or when they come out. So the public, you get a chance to speak and look at these terms and conditions. Then the company has a timeline, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. And also US EPA gets a chance to look at it and make sure that we've done our job to put all the terms and conditions that are applicable in it. It also has in there enhanced and detailed monitoring, record keeping, and reporting requirements that we use for enforcement or to make sure that the facility is doing what they say in the operating permit needs to happen. And it's a better mechanism for us for compliance. Next. I can do it from here. I don't think this will work on your computer. No. You just use the down arrow. Yep. Okay. So the Title V program has two steps. The first is the PTI, which is a permit to install. That's already been issued to Wind Waste, and that was for the expansion itself. They have to have this prior to construction, and there are some activities that can be done before they get to the operating permit, before the PTI is issued. But the operating permit comes next. And that has to happen before they start the operation itself. And it requires those controls that are in the operating permit to be run. We look at those permits once every 5 years for the renewal cycle. But this is not in that cycle yet. This is because it's a modification. So that last bullet on there, it's reviewed for a modification as needed. That's why this permit is being reviewed now. Next. So let's look at some specific facility permitting history here, and let's see why we're here tonight. So on February 5th of 2024, a public hearing, I was here, and most of you were here, for that draft expansion permit. That was a major modification of the facility. So in that PTI, all the current controls that are at the facility had to be operated while that PTI, while the construction process is happening. They also had to install additional equipment, or may have had to install additional equipment as necessary. Then on September 11th of 2024, the final PTI was issued. On September 16th, just 5 days afterwards, the Title V PTO significant permit modification was started in our office in Northwest. And this permit requires operation of the control equipment that's required of the operator. So I want to add that you have already seen these terms and conditions once prior, and comments were received on that prior. So this draft permit, when you come up to do your testimony, you're commenting on the incorporation of that PTI into this operating permit. Next. So what does the Title V cover? In this case, it covers the air emissions from the landfill gas itself. It covers the flares. It also covers the dust that's created from the roadways, the landfill operations themselves, and also the rail unloading building. Next. This one's, oh yeah. So the process starts with the permit application, which I already talked about once, but Wind Waste submitted that Title V application in May of 2024. We didn't start work on it till after the PTI was issued in September. The application comes in, we review it, the terms and conditions are developed in our offices, and then we issue a draft permit, which is where we're at now. So the purpose of this public hearing is to explain the permitting process, give you an opportunity to provide your verbal testimony, and if you have written comments that you want to send in, that's open until May 8th. So we're here at the May 1st public hearing. You have until May 8th to send those in if you have written comments. Next. So this operating permit brings in all the active PTIs that were issued to the facility, including this expansion PTI that was issued. It also brings in any applicable rules, things that they're required to do at the landfill, emissions limitations, and operational restrictions. It requires the use of controls at the facility, and it also details the monitoring, record keeping, and reporting requirements, as well as any emissions testing that might be required after the operating permit is issued. Okay, that's the Title V process. What's the next step? The next step in the process is for this permit, your comments to come in, we review those comments, we answer those comments, and once we have those answered, then a response to comments document is issued with the preliminary proposed permit. The preliminary proposed permit is a 14-day process that the company gets to review that permit, any changes that were made to it because of the comments that you make tonight. And then, after that 14-day period, or during that 14-day period, the company could say, wait a minute, I want to talk to you separately, and they can do that. And we'll talk about the permit itself. After that, we issue a proposed permit. That's where US EPA gets their bite at the apple. They get 45 days to review the permit and see if there's anything that they want to add, or maybe we missed something. As a community, as an agency, or as a company, they get to look at it and say, you need to make revisions at that point. But they're kind of the final ones to say, yes or no, we agree or we don't agree. Then we make a recommendation to the director. We either say, we want this permit, we think it's right, we've had everybody's input, or we say it's not okay and we need to deny it. But that's the options that they have. In the end, you can appeal the permit. The company can appeal the permit. Pretty much anybody, even US EPA, can appeal the permit. We don't like appeals because it's a long, arduous process, but it is an opportunity to have that discussion. So I just wanted to throw it out there that it is an option. It's very long, though. I'll just tell you. I'm going through one right now. It's very long. Okay, next. So you notice this QR code. Is everybody familiar with the QR code? It's basically you just take your phone, you scan it, you touch the screen, and it gives you an option to fill out a form. In that form, you can submit your comments, written comments that way. You can download it onto your computer, correct me? Yeah. You can download it on your computer, you can write your comments and send them back in. We can accept those up to May 8th. I think it's midnight of May 8th, we'll accept those. If you have written comments that you just literally want to write down or type out or however it goes, and you want to send them in, then Elise Wineland, in our Northwest District Office is taking those for this particular permitting action. Anything else?
I'm gonna leave this up in case somebody wants to scan that with their phone.
I think we're going to go directly into the,
Yeah.
yeah, so Dina's going to make a statement, and then we're going to take comments. I do have one already, Dina, a blue card. Do you want me to just leave it up here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they don't have a big enough mouth to be heard.
If anybody has any blue cards or they want to, come up and speak afterwards, just let me know and I'll come back and get it. Oh, thanks. Great.
All right, thanks. Okay. All right. So I'm actually going to turn this. Oh, maybe not with the microphone on it. Let's see if that works. Okay. And the reason I'm doing that is it's the most important thing here is for our court reporter, Susie, to hear what you have to say so she can make an accurate transcript of the comments we get tonight. I got a long speech I've got to read into the record, and then we'll call names for the people that filled out a blue card. Okay. So bear with me. Ohio Environmental Protection Agency's public hearing, May 1st, 2025. My name is Dina Pierce. I am a Public Information Officer for Ohio EPA. I am facilitating today's public hearing. The purpose of today's hearing is to obtain comments from interested persons regarding draft air operating permit for the Wind Waste Innovations of Seneca County landfill. If the draft permit is approved, the landfill's existing operating permit will be updated to include upgrades, limits, restrictions, and rules approved in the air permit to install that was issued last fall. The permit requires controls for landfill gas, dust from roadways and operations, and the rail car unloading building. Ohio EPA published a public notice to announce this hearing and public comment period on Ohio EPA's website and in Ohio EPA's weekly review, which is a publication that lists by county all agency activities and actions taking place in the state of Ohio. All interested parties are entitled to attend or be represented and to submit comments concerning this draft permit. The Director of Ohio EPA will consider all comments received as part of the official record. A court reporter is here to record tonight's proceedings. Written and oral comments received as part of the official record are reviewed by Ohio EPA before the Director takes a final action. To be included in the official record, Ohio EPA must receive written comments by the close of business on May 8th, 2025. These comments may be presented today, mailed to Ohio EPA Division of Air Pollution Control, Northwest District Office, attention Elise Wineland, 347 North Dunbridge Road, Bowling Green, Ohio, 43402. They can be emailed to Elise at alyse.wineland, wineland, at epa.ohio.gov, or submitted using the QR code link provided at the sign-in table. So it's sitting back there if you want to just scan that with your phone. All written comments submitted by May 8th will receive the same consideration as the testimony submitted tonight. Written statements submitted after that date may be considered as time and circumstances allow, but will not be part of the official record of the hearing. Questions and comments at the public hearing will be responded to in a document called a response to comments. The Director, after considering the recommendations of the program staff and comments presented by the public, may issue or deny the permit. Once the Director makes a final decision, the final permit decision, along with response to comments, will be made available to anyone who requests a copy. The Director's final actions can be appealed to the Environmental Review Appeals Commission, also known as ERAC. This board is separate from Ohio EPA and reviews cases in accordance with Ohio's environmental laws and rules. If you wish to present testimony at this hearing tonight and have not already completed a blue card, please do so now. They're available at the back table, and return it to me or an Ohio EPA representative. These cards, like I say, are at the registration table. Just need your first and last name. You may testify only once and speak for 5 minutes. So I ask that you use your time wisely. Ohio EPA's public hearings allow citizens to provide input. Therefore, we are not able to answer questions during the hearing, nor is there a cross-examination of the speakers or Ohio EPA representatives. I or an Ohio EPA representative, or Susie, may ask a clarifying question of the speakers to ensure that the record is complete and accurate as possible. If you have a question, please phrase your comments as a question, and the agency will address your concerns in writing with the response to comments document. We will now receive testimony. As I call your name, please step up to the microphone, state your name, spell it for the record, and proceed with your testimony. The first person requesting to testify is Deb Tyson. Yeah, that's why I'm going to make this. Okay. Don't want people tripping over the
Yeah,
cord
the
either.
cord is kind of in the way.
Yeah.
There you go, sorry.
My name is Deb Tyson. Tyson's Tyson. And I've been through this process many times. I'm not happy that we don't have question answer, but with that said, the air is only one part of the pollutants that we face. And one of the things I don't think has been covered is what chemicals are emitted into the air and what is their effects, especially in high winds, which we've been getting lately, because some of us have respiratory problems. So I'd like to know what the precautions is, because sometimes we do get precautions across our emergency thing to say, don't go out because the air is not good. And I just wish that EPA would do something like that for us. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. I have one more card, and that's Brian Ezek.
My name is Brian Ezek. I represent Wind Waste Innovations. I count approximately 24 people in this room today. There are 6 people from the Ohio EPA, including the court reporter. There are 7 people affiliated with Wind Waste Innovations, including consultants and an attorney. There are 2 people from our partners, Vision RNG, who are developing a renewable gas facility on site. There are 2 people, there is 1 person from Loudoun Township, 3 people from representing Seneca County, 1 person from the FOSTORIA City Council, 1 to 3 people from media outlets, and 4 people from the general public. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anybody else like to, yeah, please. So, yeah, state your name and spell it.
Lewis, okay.
Okay, yeah, Lewis Watkins.
My name is Lewis Watkins, Louiswatkins, and I'm not real sure what you're trying to get past. I mean, if you were going to clean up the air would be one thing. I live not far from there, and I have to smell that all the time. And then once it starts to get a little later in the evening, well, then you hear the trains go all night long. And where, you know, the air's bad enough, and I thought they were put in something to clean their air. Am I mistaken about that, I guess? because now they have a power plant, or is that not operating yet? I forgot, we're not answering questions. But you guys are cheating us. The EPA is cheating FOSTORIA. I'm Loudon Township, so I'm right down the road. I walk out my back door, I can see you. I remember when that used to be a little molehill, when Jay Schiff owned it. It's not that anymore. I see we have people from that's supposed to represent us, and they're not doing a very good job. They're falling down on the job. We have no representation. We count on the EPA. But how far does that go when it just keeps going and going? I mean, I was at one of the council meetings and I told them how disgusted I was with one of the people there, and I'm pretty upset with a lot of the people that's here. Too bad. I think most people have just gave up. We're fighting a losing battle every time they want to do something. They just get to do it, and I'm sure this will go through. I'm sure it won't stop. Nothing's going to stop it until they run out of room, which I'm sure FOSTORIA is buyable. I mean, I'm sure you buy the whole town and just make one giant dump out of it. That's my opinion. And your traffic, why don't you stay off Township Road 21 and take them out 23 and bring them out in front of your place, and you take care of the roads. That's another thing. You tear up the township roads when there's state routes that they can take and don't have to use ours. But they're not paying for that repairs either, just like the water and the air we have to breathe. Yeah. Am I upset with them? Yeah. But since I can't get anybody to answer any questions tonight, that's all I got to say. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, anybody else would like to present testimony tonight? All right, last call. All right, thank you. Seeing that there's no other requests to present testimony, we will end the hearing. As a reminder, we will accept written comments on this permit through 11:59 p.m. on May 8th, 2025. Comments can be mailed to Ohio EPA Division of Air Pollution Control, Northwest District Office. Attention, Elise Wineland, 347 North Dunbridge Road, Bowling Green, Ohio 43402. Or comments can be submitted online through the QR code. There's also a link at the bottom if you want to just take a picture and type it in the computer later. If you have questions after tonight, you can reach out to either me or Elise. My contact information, my card's on the table. I also have a card for Max Moore, one of my colleagues, and he works more with the solid waste part of this. I'm focused on the air part. So you can reach out to either one of us. I thank you for your participation tonight. The time is 6:27, and this hearing is adjourned.